Rugged, lightweight, comfortable, handcrafted rockin' leather boots. Made to work all day and be out all night. RockinLeather.com. Introducing the Rixie Generation 2 Dog Stand. Lightweight, collapsible, and engineered for versatility. This stand is built with a laser-cut powder-coated steel frame, tempera aluminum legs, and a durable Duramesh fabric. Weighing just under 8 pounds, it's effortless to carry and set up. With a working load limit of 120 pounds, it attaches to nearly any tree. Available now at RixieOutdoors.com.
Winter Productions, content creation company that is here to tell your story, whether it's about the love of your life or capturing the chance of a lifetime. We are here to tell your story.
Roll up to the club. My 1964 cat is great as a stone. At a quarter to one, just a looking for more.
You really didn't sell this place.
You got to trade that cut.
Let's go to the rest.
Take another shot, get a lip on me, baby. Ooh, it's a quarter to
Like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Tossing the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Passing the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back better than last. It's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
It's time to talk dog vest. Recoil Outdoors dog vest. We use this dog vest all season long. It's stood up to the test. Let's talk some features about it. This dog vest is built with industrial grade Velcro for a snug fit around the neck, unlike any competitors. This vest comes with dual rear straps for a snug fit around the waist. This vest allows for a tucked away handle for the timber or an open handle for open water. This vest also comes with covered edges around the neoprene to prevent chafing. Recoil vest also comes with a Cador chest strip that runs the length of the vest to prevent punctures and cuts. This vest comes in 6 different sizes, tailored to fit the smallest boykin to the biggest lab. Recoil Outdoors, the only fully adjustable one-piece dog vest on the market. Check them out online.
Welcome back to another episode of Life with Twin Device, brought to you by Rockin' Leather, Rixie Outdoors, Hunt Proof, Blueberry Waterfowl, Dirty Duck Coffee, Winter Productions, and Recoil Outdoors. Now let's get it started.
Can I hear myself now? There I am. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Oh gosh, it is a little dark. I'm gonna have to pop that up right here on the screen, and then we're gonna jump over and join regional rep Jake Hoffe. He is actually waiting right now. I'm running behind, so I'm gonna hop up, adjust my lighting here real quick, brighten it up on my side, and we're gonna hop into it with him. So let me do this real quick. It looks way brighter down here than it does up there. So let me adjust that, and let's jump to it, guys. Oh, there we go. Yep. Oh, okay. It's been a while, but we'll get caught up later. Let's go ahead and get this going since Jacob is waiting on us. We're in the Google meeting. Yeah. Oh, maybe I don't know how to join. Oh, join now. There we go. Admin, there we go. Here we go. I'm getting it figured out. Hey
Nathan, how are you?
Good. I'm doing good if I could figure out. There we go. I have some visual, but you're gonna look at me kind of at an angle tonight.
Yeah.
Because just trying to throw this together. Man, I hate OBS, and I have found a solution, I think, around it, another software, and I am working my way towards it. But it involves rebuilding a complete thing I already built once. So we're getting there. Thank you again, first off, for doing this, man. A few times I got to talk to you. You've been awesome to talk to you. You've been cordial to take your time and chit chat with me about duck hunting every time I met you. But let's just hop into it so we don't waste time. I know you got a little baby on the way anytime soon. So
yeah, Monday they're inducing her, so we got our first little girl on the way. We're all excited. Got the in-laws in town right now, and we can't wait.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations again. But let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and get started here.
Yeah.
Let's kind of start how you got into Ducks Unlimited. We're gonna talk. I'll try about for like an hour right here, but let's get into like how you got kind of into that Ducks Unlimited world.
Man, it was I went to school for wildlife management. My degree's in wildlife management. I got bachelor's. Love the biology aspect of everything to do with wildlife. When I was involved at my college, actually got involved. I started off as a volunteer. So I got introduced to Ducks Unlimited by a couple buddies, that I hunt with. Started off in college, started volunteering, met a lot of great people in the organization, and that's kind of continued throughout my career. Ended up becoming a biologist out west for a little bit. And when I was out there, you're starting a family, starting to see things clearer. Had a couple guys that I volunteered with call me up, and they were like, "Hey, this position's open in West Virginia. We think you'd be a great fit. Try it out." They're looking for a young, ambitious RD in that region to kind of, shed some new light with the organization and see how far we can kind of take it since COVID. And, a year and a half later, you and I met on the Ohio River, and we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's been great. The people of West Virginia have been phenomenal. Our volunteers have been phenomenal and welcoming me, even though I'm not a mountaineer to say. But yeah, it's been great. Getting involved with Ducks Unlimited, I started as a volunteer, ticket sales, selling tickets to the events. I was a banding leader, so I don't know what kind of details you want to go into there on that. Just like every chapter is unique, and that was part of one of our ways as a collegiate chapter and education system. We utilized the committee to engage in the education aspect of banding data, and we'd go out and physically band birds. Our TA and our professors on campus were heavily involved with Ducks Unlimited, and we would go out and band waterfowl. We tracked their migrations. We even did some studies on some neck-collared geese. Before I even got on campus, I was working with DEC and got to neck collar some geese locally. Saw them throughout my 3 to 4 years of hunting that area, which was pretty cool to see every time we ran into them.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very. I said this the other night on a podcast when we was at the Ducks Unlimited thing. Is conservation is something that kind of caught me off guard on how important it is that every group. It don't matter like who you are, like you need to support. If you're a hunter, you got to support conservation because you don't. It's one of those things that like I think duck hunters see it the most, maybe because like yeah, we say the migration affects so much, whether the weather and all that.
Yeah.
But the bird population also, like you look at, like it's probably one of the most dumped data into it is waterfowl. I feel like.
Yeah, the data is skewed all over. It just depends on where you're at regionally across the United States. Certain areas of the states. I'm going to say this in my opinion, just because it's my opinion, not Ducks Unlimited's opinion, but mine. There's certain areas and pockets that have more birds than others, and there's also these changes that have been happening in migration routes. I don't know if you've been seeing that over your years of hunting, but there's you're starting to see different species here but you're losing this species as well.
Yeah, and I think it's seen a lot when you look at like central Louisiana to the east coming this way. It's like you said, it's farming practices. It's all through there. I do believe, like, and this is kind of skewed because it's not something people like to hear, but hunting pressure is one of the lowest things I think that affects them year to year. I think it does affect them as far as when you have them. Hunting pressure can move them out. You can move birds during that period. But as far as year to year, like you have your calendar birds every single year that are going to show up in Texas, Arkansas. You like every December opening duck season, there's a group of mallards that move into Arkansas consistently. Same thing with Tennessee. Same thing with the East Coast. Every year, and the first of December into November, there's birds that move in because it's a calendar system. They move off daylight. The shooting, like you can shoot on those birds and like move them out, but you're not going to affect them for the next year. They're going to come right back.
Yeah.
I think that's a big misconception that I've seen, and it's something that like the more I learn and try to see, I think something I want to talk about is all the stuff that Ducks Unlimited does, kind of like just like an off topic, like just like names and projects that like they're doing that are big. Because I think one of my biggest problems, I'll say this so you don't have to say it, is the biggest skew about Ducks Unlimited, Delta, all of them, is that everyone who, like, as soon as, like, they donate money, like, well, I want to see this thing at this WMA. Okay, I understand that. But that's that's a small picture. There's such a bigger picture you're not seeing that's, in the pothole lands in the Midwest, up in Canada, that, like, okay, if you don't take care of that problem, your little WMA problem is not going to matter because it's going to be non-existent. There are going to be no birds there anyways because you're going to lose everything you have.
Absolutely. What Ducks Unlimited is doing is we have primary focuses on the prairie pothole region and the Great Lakes region, which is our wintering habitat or summer breeding habitats for waterfowl. Now we're also spending money on projects south for your wintering habitats and then anything in between. Ducks Unlimited is not just gonna say we need to put everything into prairie potholes. Yeah, that's our focus because 80% of your bird populations are coming from the prairie potholes. Yeah. So it is a major focus, but we wouldn't be seeing birds in the Ohio Valley without putting, our income and what our projects in Erie, in Ontario, in Wisconsin, in those areas in those states. Now, are we doing work in West Virginia? That's what I get a lot of. People spend, they come to our fundraising events. They're like, where's the money going? Is it staying in West Virginia? The real answer to that is no. No, it's not staying in the state. However, what I've been telling guys is the more from a local level you can do to be involved with the community, the better you're going to be received.
Yes.
So whether we can work with partners and help out with the local economy. We can help out in terms of, caterers, venues, all that goes into planning an event. We're supporting that local economy. Now, as far as projects in West Virginia, I'm just going to read you. I came prepped with some numbers. We're at 1,100 acres in the state of West Virginia. $227,000 has been that's almost within $2,000 has been invested in the state natural resources. and that's over, I think, 15 projects in the state where we have put our boots on the ground and done some wetland mitigation. Now, there's other states out there like New York. They got thousands and thousands and thousands of acres, millions of dollars vested into that state. But look at it from this way: we've our total contributions in West Virginia to the and the government's contributions and to any project has been $500,000. So all the money that we're raising has been about $500,000 has gone into the dirt. Now, half of that has gone back into the state.
Yeah,
we're seeing half of that come back right into the state. So that's just awesome margins to see when you have, all these projects all over the nation. Our primary focus is going to be on our waterfowl populations and wintering and breeding habitat.
Yeah, and that's the money that we're talking about. Money that's raised right there. Yes. Those individual groups are still doing stuff day to day, and that's what I kind of my side of it is, and I try to tell every group that I get involved with, I'm like, your best friend is social media anymore. It is the most pain in the butt thing to deal with. It is annoying. But for all these,
I don't like it. We just finally got a volunteer to coordinate and do social media for the state, and my heads off to him because I struggle with it. I think everybody does.
I'll tell you this much, and this is a little tidbit secret. ChatGPT AI will be your best friend ever when it comes to dealing with social media and figuring out what to do as far as your post and everything. Yeah. But there's still volunteers doing stuff in the state. They're still cleaning up. They're still doing different things, and it's not just them. There's other organizations also doing that. But that's the thing. And that's I kind of talked with Caleb and them when I was over there, and I was like, hey, when you do something, I was like, it's annoying to deal with social media. I hate it, but you gotta boost that social media because then it shows what's going on. They do. I cannot think of his name. I just drew a complete brain. Nature's Game. I cannot. Yeah, he does such a great job promoting everything, and I tell him, I was like, dude, hats off to you. Because a lot of people's not promoting across the board like you are. You are promoting. If you don't invite this man to whatever you have going on, because he's going to promote the crap out of it.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. Because like you said, as you get more volunteers involved, then they're like, hey, well, I'll come to a cleanup. Okay, that's awesome. Because it doesn't. We don't need money. We need very little money to clean up. But we need a ton of volunteers to clean up, and it's insane. Well, just look at the river now. It's blown out right now. You're getting the amount of trash you're going to see float down it. It is insane. Go fish for bass fish for 5 minutes down the bank, and you'll find everything you need to have a backyard barbecue. It is coolers. Everything's going to be there. Grill. You're going to have it all. The propane tank. It's all going to be there. You're probably going to be able to play a couple different basketball games too. That's the thing. We talk about, man. That cleanup is what the focus needs to be, and we said there's a lot of WMAs we'd like to see stuff done too.
Yeah.
But it's those WMAs, the work within them is not going to be as important because I think there's a little bit of, I remember when it was this kind of aspect in the state. But there's a lot of young guys that don't remember it like that, so they're not going to care. Sadly, I hate to say it that way, but I don't remember it that way because I came after.
Yeah.
So
I can't speak on that because I've been in the state of West Virginia now for only 2 years, so I came in kind of late into everything. And we got a great WMA not too far from your house, and that's Green Bottom.
Yeah.
And as far as the dike systems and what's already been put in by the state of West Virginia and Ducks Unlimited, by the way.
Yeah.
Ducks Unlimited spent quite a bit of money in that WMA. The infrastructure's there.
Yeah.
It's just let's be honest, we're in a deer and turkey state.
Yeah.
So the primary focus is that for that WMA, the manager there, his focus is food plots for doves, food plots for deer. I'm sure that's what his focus is.
Yeah, and honestly,
it's the state we live in.
Honestly, that's kind of fine. I have another one not far, McClinic, and that's kind of their focus is deer and turkey and doves. And to be honest, at the end of the day, I think I'm fine with it. And, it annoyed me at first, but then it took me a while to realize that, there's no reason to be bothered by it. It's a matter of, like, travel to some states and look at their WMAs, or just go listen to podcasts from other states. You'll hear the same complaints across the board, but the difference is, like, Arkansas. I'll use Arkansas because that's the easiest one people complain about and bitch about different things. They've been doing a lot more, like, they've been relying on me and you to go out and do the cleanup the DNR has. Yeah. They've just been allowing it. Like, and that's the difference. Like, I mean, you want to complain about this or that at, like, one of these WMAs. Well, if you don't go out and volunteer your time, no one's going to do it, because you got to realize the state we're in, even their state, they're not funding the money, and they're the duck capital of the world, and they still don't have the money to fund to take care of their WMAs. I mean,
that's why it's so important to have these other nonprofits working, like Ducks Unlimited, to be there, to build, to have a full conservation team that can dedicate time and put some resources and money in the dirt. Now, we don't discriminate on WMAs or private land. The organization does not. We look for suitable wetlands for habitat.
Yeah.
That's the goal, is as much habitat as we can, and I will argue till my face turns red that there is not an organization that put a million acres in a single year of habitat, especially a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2024, that's what Ducks Unlimited did. We're not going to be able to replicate that this year due to some federal funding, but we're still on track for about last report I heard about 950,000 this year.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you got to have that kind of mentality and stuff. And I think you're seeing that more and more. I think that the more you follow the conservation world and stuff, you see it across the board. That's where it's got to be. I'm excited because, to be honest, you see a lot of these fundraisers, and me and you've talked about them. You need, the fundraiser has a lot of awesome hunters that come to it that, they spend some money and stuff, but there's different classes of hunters. There's the everyday Joe that hunts and stuff, and, like, he kind of doesn't live paycheck to paycheck, but his amount of spending is low. A lot of your good events, like, to be honest, are filled full of corporate guys. And that's the guys actually you want donating the money. They have the money. No association wants to go get money from someone who can't really afford to give it, because in the end of the day, they want people out hunting. That's why they're doing this fundraising. So that's the big thing. Like, if you can't donate or spend a bunch of money at these events, you're like, I don't want to come. Well, just come buy a ticket and show up. That's plenty. There'll be a guy there who's going to spend 5 times what you could have spent, either way, whether you're there or not. And that guy's going to be the guy who, at the end of the day, helps fundraise that money.
Absolutely. Now, my viewpoint as far as West Virginia goes is we need to change that mindset. And that's through different events that we need, that we have to get guys involved with, because we want to build an event for the everyday guy. Yeah. We don't expect somebody to come in and spend, $150 to $400 at an event. That's great if that's what you feel like doing. That's if you want to win some of our gear and merchandise. But at the end of the day, we still need to get the common guy in the room, because as far as our message of conservation, that's how we educate people in the state. Is getting them in the room and having discussions. It's just who I am. I kind of float around and just talk to everybody at an event. I think you've seen that. I try to socialize as much as possible just to educate people, because that's where we have seen growth in our organization, especially in West Virginia, because our volunteers are the common men. Yes. Yeah. They're not the big corporate guys. Like what we're doing down, in Huntington on May 3rd, in a month from now. Yeah. It's a sportsman's bash. It's a $20 ticket to get you into 20 guns, and you don't have to attend. Well, yeah, there's a $50 ticket, but you're getting 3 gun chances by going. We're trying to incentivize people to go. But I feel like the common guy can afford a $50 ticket for 3 chances in on 20 guns.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And especially if they're a firearm guy.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. I feel like that's an easy sell.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen yet where you guys have done an event where it's being so outrageously priced and stuff that you just can't afford. I took people to the one we went to the other week here in Hurricane. Like everyone I took with me, other than my wife, had never been to an event, never been to like any type of event like that. I'd been to one. I'm like, it's fun. I was like, just bring like $100, you know, like $100 extra bucks, and like, you know, just spend it as you feel like you need to spend it, and like, you know, have fun. Like, and yeah, I had some guys with me, and I wrote them to add some money to the pot that didn't work out for them. But I mean, it's at the end of the night, like, I look at it as like, you know, I put a little bit of money away here and there, and then what's the difference in me going to the dog track and spending $100 gambling? Like, you know, like, I mean, it's no different. I mean,
yeah, why go to the casino and they're just going to be the house and pocket it, where you can go to a DU event, maybe win a gun, but, you know, at least feel good walking out the door going, you know what, that's going towards, you know, your kids and my kids' future for waterfowl hunting.
Yeah. And
that's how I look at it.
And that's the whole thing. Like, I'm gonna try to like podcasts like here and get like, I'm starting with Ducks Unlimited. I'm gonna grab a Delta guy, but I'm also gonna jump over and grab like just all the West Virginia guys I can, because there's so much conservation going on in the state that I think people need to know about. And you guys have built such a good program, is where I'm going with this. Like, it went from, I knew of 2 groups. I knew of Greg Hicks' group and like one other group, and then like it blew up about the time you showed up. It seemed like it got rejuiced to come alive.
It had a lot of pressure to do that and juice it up, but yeah, we've hit our goals already, and our fiscal year's not even done for fundraising.
Yeah.
And when I came in, there were 3 very solid established chapters, maybe 4. I would say that we had an event with, and now we're at 12 chapters in the state, and within a year we grew about $50,000 from 3 years ago last year, and this year we're going to raise probably another $100,000 more than that, and it's going to put us over almost $250,000 this year. So it's phenomenal to see, and engaging our volunteers and doing stuff like what you're talking about with river cleanups. We got and it starts local. It has to be that group of guys that wants to feel motivated and wants to do it, because I can't go clean up 20 rivers in 20 different counties across the state as the regional director. I got to focus on, keeping food on the table for my wife and I, and raising the funds and getting that stuff in. That's the river cleanup is extra to what I do. I'll come out occasionally to some of these guys when they're hosting these, but it's not my priority.
Yeah.
But
and I think there's a way at the end of the day to and there's talks. I'm gonna like chit chat with some guys and stuff, and there's different ways to do stuff to add to this and stuff. Me and Caleb, we have some ideas. I have some ideas. I've shot him and stuff, and I'm gonna talk to him sometime. Sit down with him. Like, my life's crazy. Like, I told him, like, I was like, that's why like I don't really like volunteer very much. Like, if I can make an event, I try to help out at it. But like, it's like I usually go help do 2 or 3 Delta things and like one of the DU things if I can. And I've got to do the one DU event so far. I'll get to hit the May 3rd event, and that's probably all I'm going to hit for like pretty much the summer, just because it's just sporadic this year, and it's crazy, with like you're gonna see, like with growing the family and stuff, man, it does not make it easy. We are better with my wife's new job about like our ability to like have some more free time, but neither here nor there. But like, it takes, like you said, it takes those guys on that local level to get that program started. It takes, you don't have to just initially you don't have to like go to like, oh, okay, I want to do like let's say a wood duck project. Well, I don't want an idea I've had, which I'll spit this idea out there. A lot of people don't know this, but some of the Home Depots do a kid event, like one, I don't know when it is. My kids have went and done it. They make this like small thing. Well, approach a Home Depot and be like, hey, like, would you like want to put together these boxes? let the kids paint them. We'll take them out, take pictures of them, give them back to you. You can post them on your local Facebook and stuff. The kids can see their boxes, and you're introducing young kids who parents have no idea what duck hunting even is about ducks. And I mean, you can give them a little pamphlet, show them this is what it's going to be for and stuff. And that's something that Caleb was like, I didn't even know they did those projects. I was like, I don't know about them because my kid has a birdhouse and a little golf thing that it's cool. Yeah. But I'd love to see the wood duck box. You can go to your local trade schools and stuff, and sometimes they have extra around, see what they have laying around. They get bored. They have a drought time with kids. Have them build some wood duck boxes, send them off to the side, or a nesting box.
Yeah, you could easily there are ways where we could get a donor to come in and donate materials to a trade school and be like, hey, work with their teacher and be like, hey, we need X amount of wood duck boxes, and they will end up doing them. I mean, because it's one, it's educational for the kids to in the workshop, and then two, we want to go out and
you get to reach a bunch of kids
out with private landowners, and that's building relationships across the community, and it helps it in full circle. Full circle, it helps everybody. Not only our fundraising, but just the community and how we're perceived. And that's the real message that our volunteers are really, really pushing in their marketing and their, for an event. They're doing hey, check what we did out. Come support us at our banquet this day. It's really, really nice to see when it all comes together, and then there's a banquet and there's people excited, enthusiastic, and willing to support something that's going on in their community. We got, for example, we got a small, very, very small chapter in Craigsville, West Virginia, Somersville area. Not the type of committee that would run a banquet. Not really the type of area we're looking at running a banquet. I know NWTF runs a banquet there, but we're running these smaller events, and we're going to have one coming up here in June with a fire department. We partner directly with the fire department. We're splitting the cost 50-50 down the middle, everything, the net proceeds. We're fronting, Ducks Unlimited's fronting the money to fundraise, and we're splitting the proceeds 50-50 down the middle with the fire department. Yeah. We're giving back to the community, and people really like that.
Yeah.
Really, really like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's my thing. You don't have to, it's not, I guess it doesn't have to be a bunch of hunters trying to fix this problem, like we said. It can be a little bit, and, you're going to gain people who,
would never be in the money or anything. They're there for conservation, or they're there to support their local volunteer fire department. They're not.
Yeah.
Ducks Unlimited second. We're just helping them out.
Yeah, then they're going to see a sign down the road that says Ducks Unlimited, and be like, hey, I know those people. I'll support that. Or just randomly be in a store and see a Ducks Unlimited shirt and buy it. It's one of those crazy things that, I've done it. I mean, I know you've seen, I've bought, so-and-so supported this. I'm buying theirs. I know different people that'll do that. They'll see something okay, I'm going to buy that. Well, I mean, tonight I'm drinking a little bit of Horse Soldier bourbon, and I mean, they're veteran owned. That's why that's why I have it. I bought it because I found a bottle of it, and I found it and bought 2 bottles. I'm like, hey, I'm going to support, this is a veterans company. They give back. We have family that's in the military. I want them to, you got to support that community. I mean, that's just something simple.
Yeah, we've done work with, local American Legions, with their venues or booking out them. And people don't realize, when you're booking out, American Legion or something like that, they're struggling right now. Those American Legions, the VFWs, they're struggling just as much as anybody else, and supporting them by having an event at their place. Or what I've also done is I've had them help us sell tickets, and they're getting a certain amount of whatever they sell. Working together with those, we really, really need to do a better job at highlighting that and stimulating the local economy, and also educating that local community on what we're doing, because it's just going to go full turn. People are going to look at it and be like, yes, we're going to support Ducks Unlimited because they're doing this with our VFW, with our American Legion, with our local fire department. And it's, we're going to go in circles here, but it's a full circle process of getting into these communities and stimulating their local economies and showing a good face in it too.
Yeah.
And that is one of my main business strategies for West Virginia, because we're not a duck state.
No.
We're a conservation-minded state with a lot of people who are West Virginia first, and I fully support that. And that's why I want to have all these partners in the state to work with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say this, because we said earlier, because we were talking full circle, we said we were a deer and turkey state. I wouldn't even call us a true deer state. I would call us, we're a good, this is about to sound...
I don't know, the ditch rats are everywhere in the state. Don't let them... you got to watch the ditches on your way home.
Yes, there's 1 billion and 1 deers in the state, but as far as, trophy class deer... per our deer numbers, I feel like we're a lot farther down on the list than what we should be. But I
got some personal opinion about that, but I'm not going to share.
I mean, there is great deer in this state. I know there's outstanding deer in this state. It is a fun fact. I had this conversation, and it was with some hunters and stuff that hunt West Virginia and Ohio, and they've got decent amount of land in West Virginia and in Ohio. And then I was like, so what's the deal? Why can a deer swim back and forth across that river, but at the end of the day, we know the bucks on that side are bigger? And they're like, it's all on the ground. They're like, we don't have the ground that they have over there. And I mean, it's crazy to think, but that's this mountain.
Minerals, the agriculture, everything on that side of the river is just better. It's bad.
I mean, you said right there, minerals. I was going to say it because I'm like, I don't want to sound completely dumb, but it's minerals. And I thought that was the dumbest thing in the world. And I'm like, okay, let's look at all the guys that have big deer in the state. Let's look at what those deer are eating when they have their photo of them. They're sitting on a mineral block, and I'm like, all right, but right there. I mean, that's it. I mean, you have to supplement our deer a little more to get them there. There is some big deer down in the coal fields.
Yeah, and so, I give Ohio, I give the state organization props for how they manage their whitetails too.
Yeah,
everybody does it differently, and state agencies. That's the beauty of all the state agencies across the United States. I've had the pleasure of working with a few of them, and you can tell, who's got this conservation minded, who's got who's trophy minded. Which states are those?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to kind of dive into that and go into a rabbit hole. But probably not related to anything you want to get to tonight.
I mean, I will go down a rabbit hole all night long. Trust me. If you've listened to any of these, we have chased some. Dude, we'll eventually get to Canada, and we don't even have to talk Ducks Unlimited when we talk Canada, because I have a question that I have asked multiple people. Actually, right now you can think about it. Why in the U.S. do we restrict? We talk restrictions so bad when at the end of the day, Canada's not doing crap and never going to do crap. It feels like, and you do not have to make a comment because you're in an organization.
You can say it.
I mean, I think it's bullshit. And I mean, I've had this conversation with a lot of really, really smart guys in the waterfowl industry, and they all say the same thing. And they'll hint at it. I mean, until you get them to be like, hey, you know what? We should probably move these dates back and not shoot brown ducks. We should. I mean, it's the mecca of hunting. You can go there and shoot the tar out of them. And let's be honest, we've all heard the story of the guys who go up there, and I mean, you've heard them through guys who they go shoot their 8 man of ducks in the morning. Well, they go back to the house. They haven't seen a game more than 20 years. They go shoot their 8 ducks again in the evening. And I mean, that's happening. It feels like up there is just the wild, wild west to an extent. Now, if you would get caught doing something, I feel like up there would be the worst place to get caught, because you're going to probably not see the U.S. for a while, maybe. But it seems like they do not do anything up there to kind of help us on our side when we're doing so much.
They do.
I mean, just for the average Joe, they don't see it, and that's kind of the problem.
The average individual is not going to see any of the work they're doing in other states. I think it was just prior to COVID. It might have been 10, 15 years ago. Ducks Unlimited like really expanded, and they expanded into Canada, into Mexico, because where our ducks and geese and are coming from are up in some of those areas. We have the breeding grounds for Fuller's whistling ducks in Texas, and those are getting absolutely pounded down in Mexico. But
they seem like they're multiplying. I'm just going to say, I've seen a lot of pictures in Louisiana. Those things seem like they're multiplying quite well.
Yeah. But it's a full circle. DU's trying to cover as much area as possible.
Yeah, I'm not blaming DU for anything.
No.
It just seems like, and at the end of the day, does DU even have an effect on numbers, like your federal numbers? That's federal choices, right? Like, if I'm understanding correctly, DU is just a conservation agent. They do not. They have an opinion they can base to the federal agencies, but you don't truly have the number. Just we live where you are now. You weren't here, but we had 2 ducks for like a year, and like when we went there, I talked to some friends, and they were like, "Dude, you're screwed. They'll never give them back to you." We had them for a year, and they gave them back to us.
I was in the Atlantic Flyway, living in the Atlantic Flyway when it went from 4 to 2.
It didn't last long though. It was a scary moment when I started talking to guys and I'm like, "Dude, that was bad. You're in bad shape." But to be honest, until this year, I don't think I've rarely been on a hunt where I've been like, we're gonna share a limit. Like until this year, I've been hunting. Waterfowl is not one for the game. Like it is a whole lot easier to get dumb luck with a turkey. It's a whole lot easier to get dumb luck with a deer than it is these stupid freaking flappy birds from Canada. Like it will piss you off more than anything. And the freaking Canadians can do it the best. They can make you the maddest. It is like they can find their own little mind to do whatever they want other than what you want them to do.
Yeah.
But it's like, let's say one of those things I'm rambling on here, but like the time we met, where we hunted that day, there should have been duck shoes in that. But yes, pressure had pushed them out of there. But that still was like the whole like BS of the it's just, I'll say it. The biggest problem with this state is we have so much river. Too much. We have so much river that doesn't have people in it. Like you go to the Arkansas,
and people will argue the opposite way of that.
Oh, they're idiot. Like there's it's not that I want less water. It's just the fact that they can go sit somewhere on the river, not be bothered and not be seen, and they will do that. It's not like Arkansas where they have to go to private land because there's so much boat traffic. Either they have to go to the woods or they have to go to private land. Here they can just go sit on the river somewhere and be like, "Oh, no one." I'm like, someone might drive a boat by, someone might not, and
you're waiting for that next barge on Island River to kick them off.
It's the truth. Find a barge. Download the Marine app and just watch barges all day long on it. Just see if one's going to drive by.
You can tell when the water just starts dropping. Oh, the lock's open. Here comes a barge.
Yep. I do have to give a shout out to Bluebird Waterfowl, which I don't have them yet, but by this fall I will have some new gear from them. Thank you, Bluebird. Hopefully I'm getting a couple sets of their floatable wings because I lost a bunch of spinner wings there at the end of the year. And they sink. You would think those things float. They do not float, but the Bluebird did drop some floating spinner wings, so that's pretty awesome.
I dropped some wings in the Ohio, and I went swimming to find them.
I did bad enough. I
shoveled through the mud.
Yeah, Bluebird hit me up, gave me some stuff, replaced some of my stuff that I had issues with, and we quickly lost it like 2 months later. So that was quite horrible. Yeah. Did not work out well. But yeah, it's just different. Like the conservation side for the normal guy, back to where we were because we chased some rabbits there. On the Canada thing, you watch that they can shoot 7. They can start shooting them so early. And it's like they start shooting them so early and we're still shooting the crap out of them when our season comes in. It's one of those things where it's like, well, weather's only going to make those birds move. And it's like when you find a fresh honker feed of young honkers, they're the dumbest box of rocks you can ever meet, and it's the greatest thing in the world. Well, that's what you get in Canada. You're getting young, dumb birds, and you can just. But I'm saying
that right there is one of the biggest things, though. It's the experience.
Yes.
The experience is different in itself.
Yes.
Because you're shooting, and you want to shoot your juvenile birds. You don't want to shoot your breeding, your full adult, hen mallards, your adult birds, because they know how to safely get down south and navigate, where to safely winter, where to safely summer. When you start taking a lot of your adults out, that's where you start seeing where I think, in my opinion, you start seeing a change in some of the population.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. When you take out that adult group, it causes a big issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something that hunters sat around and talk about. It's just a common thing that I know I've had this discussion with 3 or 4 different guys and stuff, and it's always Canada. It'd be nice to just see them let's lower the limit, let's drop it to 40. Those guys are still having the experience. I've been on those hunts. I've been on a hunt where we shot 40 geese. To be honest, we probably could have stopped at 20. I'd have been just as happy as I was at 40.
Yeah.
We didn't waste any of it, but at the end of the day, it was a real pain in the ass to clean 40 geese. It was a lot of young birds, and they were dumb. But that's a hunt I'll never forget. Also, at the same time, it's definitely just a different mindset. I think when you come to thinking about Canada versus the U.S.
And that's another. We're talking about this very liberal take, and that's a big reason why I was so drawn to become a volunteer. I was one of those when I was young. It was take. We were shooting a lot of birds where I grew up. I got spoiled where I was born and raised on our bird population. So it was take, and it's I want to give back. I want to do something different. And that's when I got part of Ducks and Lumber, and then as my career progressed, as I got out of college and became a depredation biologist, it was the same thing. Working with the FAA and Human Health and Safety, I was a hired sharpshooter on an airfield where it was take again to make sure we didn't have any bird strikes. And over time, that takes a toll on you. Somebody who has a conservation mindset is I'm doing this for a living. It's not what I want to do long term. You start to rethink of what can I do to start giving back. And since I've been a part of you, people are like, "Oh, you must duck hunt a lot because your ducks." No, I don't. I duck hunt less. Maybe it's because of where I'm located, but it's also I don't have time anymore.
Yeah.
As far as it's a business, and as far as business goes, trying to grow the state and grow, bring a new culture of what Ducks Unlimited means in West Virginia. So that's starting from ground zero and building that up is very, very difficult.
Yeah, you have to get that mindset started.
And throwing that conservation, let's give back. Let's stop taking. There's a lot of guys who just want to take. I go out, I shoot one mallard, my dog gets a retrieve. I'm happy as a pig in shit, and I'm going home.
Yeah, I think
I'm content.
I think that's kind of where, and I'm going to say this, guys who have dogs have a little different mindset too. I think the dog aspect adds a different mind. Because I've watched it this year with, the hunt we ran into we actually ended up with 3 dogs sitting there. And to be honest, me and you were both we really could care less if our dogs pick anything up. It was more of our dogs being there. We were happy. If we knocked down 4 or 5.
You want Will's dog to go to get a retrieve.
that pup, I loved watching him grow throughout the year. There were hunts that we didn't have him on that I regretted him not being. There's hunts I didn't have my young pup on. I was like, man, I wish I had her on it because, like, these are the hunts. They're simple, they're easy. But it's just, I don't know, it builds like that.
Yeah, it's one of the most rewarding things I think you can do as a waterfowl hunter or just a wing shooter in general. Is train a canine to whatever breed it is. I'm a little biased. I know you're probably a little biased on the breed.
I am. My wife sadly seen I don't know what it was. It was some type of like spaniel thing, and she's like, well, like, she has this little toy Yorkie that's sitting behind me in his cage right now. I think he's in his cage. Nope, I don't know where he's at. He's somewhere in the house.
He's running loose.
He's running loose. Like, he can run loose. Like, I just thought I'd put him in his cage where the rain. And he like he's been the best dog ever. Like, there's no way we could have get another one and it be the same dog. So it kind of sucks. That was her dream dog. We got it when we got married. He's gonna live probably another 5-10 years. So, like, whenever he dies, like, I don't know what we'll get. But she found a spaniel thing, and I was like, dude, please don't get one of those. And she's like, why? I was like, because I'll be tempted to train it. And, like, I've got friends with guys like Todd Izai. He's got a boykin. Austin Cooley, he's got a boykin. And they both brag about their boykins. Grumpy Duck, I cannot think of his name now. He has a boykin. He loves it. But, man,
I've been hearing a lot of them boykin spaniels. Like, everybody's like, man, you gotta home one.
I don't know if Forrest is going to listen to this podcast, but Forrest Carwall with Pond Creek Duck Calls. But, dude, listen to their podcast Off the X and talk to them personally about it, and then, like, knowing about his boykin spaniel. I can't own one, man. Like, it was like it's just like, I've seen it with, like, I'm actually babysitting my wife's cousin's dog while they're out of town, and she's some type of spaniel thing. Dude, like, a lab wants to please you, those assholes literally are just, like, they have an attitude, and, like, this dog's, like, terrified of me, and it'll listen to me, but I've watched it, like, she'll tell it to get off the couch or something, go to put her hand on its collar, it'll take its paw and smack it away, like, nope, you don't touch me, and I'm like, I'll be throwing that dog through a wall. I was like, you would not do that. We're a lab, like, you raise your voice, and my lab's under my feet, like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yep.
I mean, it's just the difference in the breeds, and I'm just terrified. I've actually already got my next lab picked out, which will be a couple years down the road, where I'd like for it to come from, actually, in Arkansas. So we'll see if that holds true.
Yeah, I got my lab out of New York. Buddy's dog that he was hunting over, and I was like, man, he just had incredible drive, and I don't care what anybody says. It is hard to teach that just go energy and put that into some dogs. I've seen dogs that are great retrievers. Their drive is just mediocre, but then I've seen dogs that may not be the best, mannered, but their drive is just off the wall. And I'd rather take that dog. I'll take the crackhead.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can rein that back a little bit just as a trainer. I can rein that back in to make them go. But once you get them trained up, it's a joy. Yeah. I've really, really been kind of having more of a, humbled, like, approach to hunting and in general, since, I've been able to train a dog to where she's seasoned and she's running great, and I almost don't even have to say much other than release her.
Yeah.
And then if she is off course, give her a little bit of direction. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to say. Like, I mean, I've never seen her actually work, but she was, like, well mannered. She was awesome. Literally that day we put 3 dogs on the stand and they didn't do crap. A coyote walked in front of us and they didn't do crap.
Yeah.
They literally were, like, well mannered. They didn't move. They might have whined a second to one off the other potty. They're literally, I mean, there's something to say about just a dog that does that. That's one thing.
And my pup is very, very weak on water.
Yeah.
And when I moved to West Virginia, that's all I hunt. It's water. It's getting better.
And the thing to say is there's something to say about training your own dog. And there is a little tease to something that if that I'm going to speak with Caleb and them on that, like, that'll probably involve a private call with you and me, Caleb, and Richie. and you sat down, an idea that I've had for a while that it needs, like, I need a person like you or a person like them to really make it come to life. I need an association behind it. The biggest issue is, like, I can't be this. I don't have the time to solely be the person to do it. I can guide, I can help, but like that's been the issue with like how I've tried to do it so far. It's just been hard to guide it that direction because Ducks Unlimited's got it right in the state. I'll say it. Like, it's no shot against Delta. Is they have y'all have enough? I don't even know, like, how many chapters. You said it already.
A dozen
chapters. Okay, a dozen chapters versus one in the state of West Virginia. That matters big. You have, let's say, 3 volunteers per chapter. That's 36 volunteers.
Well, and here's another thing. Within the past 6 months, we just got a major donor. I'm gonna keep it anonymous. 180K is going directly into the Ohio River area.
That's awesome. But what I'm saying, but what I'm getting at,
But
what I'm getting at, is, like,
it's not possible without all of our contacts around the state too.
And that's been the biggest thing. Like, I try to help Delta when I can, and they have one fundraiser this year. I won't promote it because we're on a DU podcast, but like, they did it on a day that like half the people like are out because of the day they did it. And I understand they're trying to do corporate people, and a weekday helps corporate people, but you lose all your volunteers if they can't get there. I can't, like, as a volunteer, I can't take a job vacation day.
Yeah, and that is where I struggle, because you know, from my perspective, just as a regional director, we are missing out on certain days of a week, and let's say the fall.
Yeah.
Saturdays are football Saturdays, college football state. Not necessarily the most ideal day in the fall to fundraise.
Yeah.
You're not going to get everybody in the room that you want. Now, maybe do it on a weekday, but that, a later part of the weekday, like Thursday or Friday, but that depends on the committee. You can't have a bunch of 25 to 45-year-old working class volunteers. You can't expect them to take a day, that morning off to set up the banquet hall, to get everything going. You can't expect your volunteers to do it. It comes back to time. So that's why you see a lot more on Saturdays.
And like we said, like, are you doing the work? Are you trying to have the working guy there, or are you trying to have the corporate guy there?
Yeah.
And I mean, and I don't.
But you gotta look at it from the volunteer side too, because if you have it on a weekday, I'm gonna be the one sitting in there setting up an event for 6 hours and with nobody.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if I was going to do a weekday event, just knowing I've been in the state, I've worked in the professional field for long enough, dude, I'm throwing a golf scramble. Like, those dudes freaking die hard. Like, if you want to, like, see some corporate guys come out of the woodwork, dude, do a golf scramble, throw a keg every 4 holes, and you do not worry, their money will show up.
Yeah.
Those guys will show up in a heartbeat for that.
I'm throwing a quick plug too. Like, we're gonna get a August 30th, mark on the calendar. We're gonna do a shoot at West Virginia Collays Incorporated with the Canal River chapter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've been part of
that. Some of that planning.
I've heard about some of that planning. I haven't been a part of it. I wasn't able to make a meeting that it was talked about at, I assume. But like, I've been back and forth communication. And I'm not here to play, like, and I'll say this for any of the Delta guys listening, I'm not here to play any side. I'm just here to, like, honestly, at the end of the day, like, I'm to the point now where I want conservation. I've been around.
I personally, I'm the regional director. I have gone to NWTF. I've gone to Delta. I've done these other things because I believe personally, every situation has its place.
We gotta have everything because at the end of the day, like, and this is a shout out. I will give these guys a shout out. Actually, I don't know the name of the group. Shoot, Justin. If you see this podcast, comment on it. Justin Booth, and tell me the name of it. Their association did a ton of work. At Summersville, they put in like handicap blinds for guys to go in and be able to hunt on public land, and they've done this stuff. Like, they're a group of guys who, like, literally, they didn't have to do that. Like, it's literally, I think it's something Deer Management Association. I don't know. I think he's might have moved on from that association now, but he was one of the original people that started it, and like, they've done a lot of great work. And it's, at the end of the day, like, I mean, those guys, I mean, they're doing something for someone who actually, at the end of the day, they're not going to benefit out of that. they were doing stuff for, and that's what we need. Like, you have to help other associations.
Yeah, but here's kind of add, like, I'm gonna go back a little bit to what you were talking about. You're still in communication with those committee guys down there.
Yeah.
You still, like, you've been there day of to an event. Like, even if you're in communication with guys and giving some pointers, like, hey, what if you guys were to do this? Even if you can't make a committee meeting, you can't, necessarily sell tickets in the event. But you show up day of, you're helping out, maybe you're selling a raffle, maybe you're putting a chair up. You are then considered a Ducks Unlimited volunteer by doing that.
Yeah.
You're a volunteer.
Yeah. And I mean, you can do very little and it actually go a long ways. I'm not saying that.
This can be your biggest friend.
Yeah. The biggest friend and worst nightmare, trust me.
And worst nightmare. I don't want to get into the nightmare aspect.
But, it's definitely the aspect of it is something that I think everyone needs to, like, continue with. I mean, it's just got to keep growing. And I think you guys are going to keep growing. I'm excited. I mean, year 2, hopefully we have you here for a while. I don't know what your plans are.
My future plans are West Virginia Ducks Unlimited right now.
Well, you're a regional guy. Let's be honest. You help Pittsburgh a little bit too. So let's let all the Mountaineer fans know he does help Pittsburgh a little bit. So you do have
Okay. Now you put me on the spot. Yeah, I am Southwest PA as well. However, I only got one. I got one chapter up in the Pittsburgh area right now.
But he does live in West Virginia, so that's all that matters.
And I am West Virginia, so
that's right. We'll let him in.
I mean, you don't have to, but it's okay.
I could ask you because you brought up college footballs on Saturdays, and I only know this because it's such a common theme with Rich Rod. But Rich Rod's famous saying, which is kind of hard to know which you might know what it is. Actually, I only know it because of like enough videos, but I would not know what his famous saying is. Do you know what it is?
No.
It's spot the ball.
It's what?
Spot the ball. Spot the ball. That's his game, man. They're going to be hard nosed and they're going to spot the ball and play the game. And I think that's kind of the aspect your group has taken towards this is.
That's exactly. We're going to go through.
I mean, and that's kind of the guys you have. Like, they're busting their butts. I mean, it seems like everyone's there. They're raising the bar. Each group is raising the bar too.
Yeah.
They're not trying to outdo each other.
I don't look at everybody, yes, there's competition within committees and within chapters, and that's fun, right? But watching individual success incrementally grow and grow and grow is just as rewarding as watching, the biggest banquet in the state raise X amount of dollars and raise the most money in the state, X, Y, and Z. But then you have a chapter that went from let's say a $5,000 event to a $20,000 event. I appreciate those wins so much more, and it is great. That's what Canal River did this year. I mean, they just went from
a very small venue to
we had an expectation, and then they just decided, hey, screw Jake's expectation. We're gonna have a great event, and they, as far as numbers go, that event, they did phenomenal. Those guys down there, top-notch event.
I will say the only thing that hurt them, and it wasn't, I don't even know how scheduling worked out, was the fact that it just happened to fall the same night as an NWTF event.
That's going to happen.
And I mean, to be honest, at the end of the night, like, I can't complain. They had great numbers, great turnout, and everything. Both events did. But it was nice to see, the
3 events in that area.
Oh, yeah.
Area of West Virginia.
I forgot about the Charleston event. I did forget about the NRA event, which
the Charleston NRA event the same night,
which had the high dollar guys. That's where a lot of your big spenders were. And I mean, there's both events still did good on their own.
Yeah.
I didn't win a turtle box, but I'm disappointed in that. But it's fine. It's whatever.
Next time.
I'll just buy one. I've already got 2. There's one sitting there and one sitting back here. I've got to buy a third now. Dude, that is the biggest racket ever. I need to complain the turtle box real quick. Actually, I have complained the turtle box. But they come out with a new generation. Now they don't link together. And I'm like, well, now I got to buy a new one. So it links to all the other new ones.
I don't have one.
So. Oh, dude, they're fun. They're fun to have just as a local thing. I'm just saying, just as like an in-house thing. Like I pair the two up, do walk around the house. To be honest, I bought the one on my own. The second one I bought,
Modern day boombox.
yeah, modern day boombox. They are. And the second one I got sold on when I bought my boat. That was my fault. That was my fault. I was like in Alabama. They were like, "Hey, we'll give you a discount on what? On this. Give it to me. Do you take a card? Do you take a card? The check's already been cut for the boat."
Yeah.
But no, man, it's been great to have you in the state. I'm excited to see where you guys go. Hopefully we'll get a hunt again this year together. Hopefully we'll get to sit down one night over dinner after this baby's born in a couple weeks,
Yeah.
and talk kind of events and some stuff. I have some ideas that like I've shot towards Caleb and them that I think we need a person like you involved, and it just takes a lot of planning, and like because I come from the world of you don't know we've got to talk, but we haven't talked a whole lot. Like I mean, there for 3 years I ran a rodeo company. So like when I plan events, like I mean for like hey we're looking at like 2,000 3,000 people is what we want. So that's how like I look at events, which you guys like you love. You guys love the 2,000 3,000 people events. You're like licking your chops, like okay we're hosting this at. You're like all right.
I got the tools to do some damage in that type of crowd.
Don't worry. I've already got the location. I've already actually like it's to the point that it's
the location, the people. That's all I need.
I've got it in my phone and everything done. It literally just needs. And I've talked with one sponsor about it too on the back end, and his complaint was the location. And it's one of those things where like, and I get it.
Locations are hard in West Virginia. That's what I found compared to other states. West Virginia is actually very, very hard to find a good location sometimes.
Yeah, so there's like actually two possibilities for the location of the event. We'll have to talk sometime. I'll shoot you some information and we'll talk. But as we wrap this up, because I'll
give away all of our secrets.
No, I can't because there's too many like it's to the point like I just like it's like my mindset of it could be so great at the same time that like you gotta shut me down and be like, hey, like no, we can't do that. That's like now we're going too far. That's the kind of way I think.
The way I'm motivated is if you guys want to put something on, you guys think you can make money for it, I'm gonna fully support it.
Yeah, I mean I have a couple ideas, but like I like to like I'm the kind of guy who, let's be honest, in the rodeo world where sometimes you spend like $7-8 grand to make about like $7-8 grand, 10 grand. Like
that's okay. That's a start. A new event for Ducks Unlimited, a qualifying new event, not necessarily a dinner banquet, is $2,500 net proceeds.
Oh, okay, that's easy to make.
We can make $2,500 net proceeds.
I say that being that I've been to enough rodeos and stuff. But no, there's definitely some stuff I have planned. But we'll start wrapping this up. It's a little bit after 9. I actually don't know how long this. I guess Google lets you go unlimited on their meetings. I have no idea.
Well, let me give a quick shout out to some of our upcoming events.
Yeah. That's why I was going to have you wrap up with some shout outs, some social medias if you know them. I'm not as well at knowing those, but let's let you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You can follow anything that we're doing on West Virginia Ducks Unlimited Facebook page. We're putting out stuff weekly with either online raffles or any events that we have coming up are all on our Facebook page. April 12th, if you're in the New Martinsville area of the Ohio River, St. Mary's, Moundsville area, we got a gun bash coming up on April 12th. We're running right now statewide. You can get tickets online, or if you know any of our committee guys, we're doing a West Virginia calendar raffle. So there's going to be about a gun a day for the whole month of May. We're giving away. That's going off of our 3-digit lottery system. Saturdays, it's going to be or Sundays, they don't do a 3-digit lottery. It's going to be reversal numbers of Saturday. And then the next one is May 3rd. It's going to be Greg's event down in Huntington at the Flying Cafe. That's going to be an outside event. It's going to be really cool to see what we can do with a crowd like that. They haven't had a gun bash in that area before. It's going to be new. I will say your odds are very, 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 very high if you want to partake. And then May 24th, we have another gun bash going on down in Lewisburg, West Virginia. And that's what we have lined up in the books right now, coming up within the next 2 months. But other than that, most of our dinner banquets are over with, and sadly, you guys will have to wait till either next fall in Huntington or next spring in Canal River for our next local banquet near you guys.
Yeah, man, it's definitely kind of wrapped that part of the world up. What is the big DU event in Memphis this year? What do you have the dates of it? Off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, I don't want to get this wrong. Anybody from DU is going to scrutinize me if they see this.
Because that's an event I think everyone's going to want to attend. It's growing. Last year, I think it was kind of its first year rebuilt a little bit.
DUX?
Yes. Like, I forget. Like, it was in Texas, and then it moved up this way.
Yeah, so they've been hosting DUX, Ducks Unlimited Expos, in certain states recently. They've been showing a lot of growth in that, and Memphis has decided, let's bring everybody down to headquarters August 1st through 3rd in Memphis, Tennessee. DUX, there's going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of vendors. It's going to be one of the biggest, not just duck waterfowl expos, but it's going to be the biggest, one of the biggest sportsman's expos in the country.
Yeah.
They're going to have boats hanging from the ceiling. from what some of the layouts that I've seen. So, and if you're a DU member, you go down to headquarters. They will let you in and tour Ducks Unlimited headquarters that week as well.
Oh, that's awesome! I actually didn't know that. Speaking of someone that's been to NWTF in Nashville, you're gonna want to attend this, dude. These big conventions are freaking awesome. They're so much fun.
You will see me down there, so don't be afraid to pull me aside.
Yeah, I haven't really decided if I'm gonna make the trip down for that yet. I gotta figure out if the funding's there on the side. Yeah. And if I can find some people to come. But dude, I love NWTF. I go every year. They might as well just call it NWTF plus ducks, because there's so much duck hunting stuff also at NWTF. But yeah, you definitely want to attend the Big Ducks Unlimited event down there. Man, Jake, thank you again for doing this. We're definitely going to have to chat again. I actually have an idea at some point in time. I'd love to do a podcast. I mean, I have the cameras and everything. I have the wireless mics. While we're on a hunt or something, it'd be so much fun. Yeah, you come in-house, so you're going to have to stay, because by the time we crack a bottle, I get a tendency, if someone's here, I get laughing. It goes 2 hours in, and I've drank half a bottle of bourbon. It's bad. I'm just saying. I become a little bit of an alcoholic.
Well, maybe we'll have to do it after a hunt or before a hunt.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come down one night and we'll go.
Yeah, man.
We'll go hunting the next day, or you come up near me. I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, man. But like I said, man, congratulations first off on the baby girl.
Yep.
I hope mother and everything's okay on Monday, and I can't wait to see pictures thrown up online. It's you won't regret it, man.
Everybody tells me it's the most beautiful thing you'll get to experience and witness, and
not both your child.
Get ready for no sleep for the next 2 weeks, and I'm like, man, turkey season's upon me. I gotta get some sleep. No, I'm just kidding. I won't get any sleep when turkey season comes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this much: the whole I'm gonna be a contradicting person. The whole birth of the child, that's not that beautiful. Let's be honest. If you would happen to have an emergency C-section, like me and my wife did, it was an emergency C-section, but it wasn't really an emergency. She just tried for so long. Do not look over the sheet. No matter how much they encourage you, you can look past the sheet at her, cut open. Just don't. It's the dumbest idea ever. You're not a trained professional. You've never seen a person gutted, so you do not need to look over that sheet. I'm just going to be honest with you. Funny story real quick as we wrap this up. The anesthesiologist on both of our kids, the first child, he was the most cocky SOB in the room. But let's be honest, if you look up how much one makes, it's a $200,000. It's a nice payday. He didn't do shit. He Dude, walked around that room, didn't do anything, told his assistant to hang a bag to like numb my wife and all that fun stuff. And he was like, oh, you can look over the sheet if you want, like a cocky little SOB. And I watched him like walk back down and just stare as they did it. And I'm like, okay, good for you. I'm not looking over the sheet. Like, I don't need to pass out. I can see the reflection in the light above. It looks a lot of red. And the second one, the anesthesiologist, she was like so much like, oh my gosh, like, here, hand me your phone. I'll take photos for you. And I'm like, woman, like, I'm so stressed.
My wife's gonna kill me when she comes out of anesthesia.
Well, I mean, they're awake. That's the weird part. They're awake. Like, all the anesthesiologists there is for the numbing. They're awake the whole time. It is the weirdest conversation you will have with a person while they're having a C-section. Actually, everyone should do it. Find a lady having a C-section. Go sit beside them, carry a conversation. It is a weird conversation.
They have consent. Let's just add that.
Yeah, you gotta have consent. Jake, man, thank you again for doing this. I'll let you hop off here and have your have the rest of the night to yourself. Go see the in-laws if they're staying with you and stuff. And
yeah, absolutely, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely chat farther down the road, and we'll talk. We'll talk ducks again, man, for sure.
Absolutely, I appreciate it, Nate.
No problem, man. Have a good evening.
Yep, you too. Bye.
Oh yeah. Gosh. Okay, let me flip over here to the main screen. That's Jake Hoffe, man. He's honestly awesome. It was one of those weird things. We met him randomly. And he did like an awesome job just carrying himself as a person who, like, you run into on a hunt. We had 3 dogs there. It was kind of like a weird situation, to be honest. It came out of nowhere. But man, I can't brag on him enough how nice he's been and how he's presented himself. And I'm definitely excited to have him in the state. But I mean, like I said, like, everybody needs to learn about Ducks Unlimited. They need to learn about Delta, NWTF, the deer management in West Virginia, the Deer Association, all these associations, because if we're gonna build this state, we gotta start there. And like you said, a lot of the money does go away from the state, but they keep money in the state. We really didn't get into that. We'll get into that on but I mean, they've got donors donating money and providing the overhead to work on stuff. It's going to get, I don't say it's not good now, but it's going to get better as more people donate, the more associations. You can do very little, but help out a lot. Setting up a chair, helping set up an event, working with your local, like, trade school or your local hardware store to do a kids event that builds, like, wood duck boxes that you then, like, educate these kids and these parents about. Down the road, their dad might go to a DU event and support that away. Like, those little things chain reaction into something big. And that's what I want to leave you with, is just remember to, conservation is something that, like, in the past I haven't been the best at. I'm trying to do better. I don't have a lot of money if they're at it, but it's do the little things and you can help raise money. But, as always, you guys have a good night. Remember the sponsors: Rixie, Recool, Dirty Duck, Hunt Proof, Rockin' Leather, Winter Productions. Feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Bluebird Waterfowl. I gave them a shout out earlier, dude. Remember all these companies, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Night.